for attending and welcome for joining our webinar today. My name is Charlena and I'm part of the IIBA Victorian events team. And I'm delighted to be your host today for our guest speaker, Vishal Pasupathi's presentation, Hyperautomation, a Necessity for Modern Organizations. Thank you also to Aradhana Puri, who has joined us today also from Intellificial Academy. I'd like to just commence, first of all, with an acknowledgement to country. IIBA Australia acknowledges the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging and extend our respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people present with us today. Now, before I introduce Vishal and Aradhana, I'd like to run through just a couple of general housekeeping tips for tonight's webinar. So Vishal has graciously said that he's happy to answer questions throughout the presentation today. So you don't need to wait until the end. If you do have a question, we ask that you please use the Q&A functionality, which should be in the little menu box at the bottom with the icons at the bottom, and just type in your questions directly into this box. If you have any technical support queries, please also pop them into this Q&A box. And myself and our events lead, my partner in crime, Charmaine, will work through these as quickly as we can. The webinar will be recorded today, and within the next week, a copy of the recordings, that's the audio and the presentation slides, will, which is part of the order, will be emailed, and that will go to the email address that you've registered with for this webinar. So please note that only the recording of this webinar will be shared, not the slide deck itself. Now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Vishal and Aradhana. So Vishal is our guest speaker today, and he's going to be taking us away with the presentation. Vishal is an engineer and data science graduate with more than 7 years of experience in the field of robotics, process automation, and conversational AI. He has worked for BFSI, healthcare, in the energy sector, telecom, and also in real estate. And he's had end-to-end implementation experience in automation projects. He's certified digital transformation consultant and solution architect, and he is a trainer at Intellificial Academy. Aradhana is also joining us today, and she'll be here to support in answering questions and also providing some expertise as well. Aradhana heads Intellificial Academy, and she's got extensive experience in training, development and instructional design with over 15 years in the field. She's delivered high-valued automation training programs for market-leading organizations in retail, telecommunications and energy sectors. Before Intellificial Academy, she worked at Oracle and she holds a master's degree in IT. So without further ado, let's get into hyperautomation, necessity for modern organizations with Vishal. I'll stop screen sharing, Vishal, and I'll hand it over to you.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for the kind introduction, Charlena. Good evening, everyone. It's great to be here today. I welcome you all for the webinar on hyperautomation. Let me share my screen now. I believe it should be visible now to everyone.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the acknowledgement. So now let me give a brief intro about Intellificial, the company I represent. So Intellificial is a Melbourne-based automation AI company. It provides solutions on artificial intelligence, automation, continuous delivery, intelligent quality assurance. And it has been ranked as the 45th fastest growing IT company in Australia in 2020 and 11th in 2022 by the CRN. So let's look at the agenda. So before getting to know about hyperautomation, we need to know about the evolution of industries, evolution of employees, and evolution of automation. And then we'll understand the basic definition of hyperautomation, what sets it apart from conventional automation, and the technologies involved in hyperautomation, and how the business value is getting leveraged from hyperautomation. We'll understand API, the application programming interface. If you have no idea about that, I'll give an introduction about that as well. And how the hyperautomation journey will be started in any organization, and what is the best practice to start the hyperautomation. We'll also understand the benefits of hyperautomation and how it is going to help the business team. We'll also see the future market and the current trend, how it is going to perform in terms of market share and the technology outlook as well. And finally, we'll conclude by putting everything together.
Vishal, I think we've got our first question. Is it all right if, Walter, have you got a question? Walter, you've got your hand up. Have you got a question?
Oh, no question. Just by mistake, that's all.
No worries.
No worries.
Thanks.
Yeah, just good to see you guys again. That's all.
Thanks, Walter.
Hi, Walter. How are you?
Yeah, hi.
Okay. Let's try to understand the evolution of industries. Like we have our we have our industry 1.0, the industrial revolution, and industry 2.0, the mass production, and industry 3.0, the computerization. It is all the history and until today, like what the industries are. Say, for example, if you take industry 1.0, it's a period between late 18th century and early 19th century, where there are major shift from manual production to machine-based manufacturing happened. For example, you can say take cotton textile industries, where hand spinning, weaving was replaced by power looms, the machinery power looms, not electrical, sorry for that. And in industry 2.0, it's the period between late 19th century and early 20th century. Before the advent of mass production, cars were handmade and only made affordable to the wealthy people. But with the introduction of assembly lines and electrical power by the Henry Ford, there were mass production of Model T Ford cars, and also it was made affordable to widespread audience as well. And in industry 3.0, the classic example is Amazon. It's a company that has leveraged the power of internet and automation to revolutionize the way goods are sold and delivered to the customers. If this is clear to you, I'll go to industry 4.0, which is the digital transformation, which refers to the current trend of automation and data exchange in every industry using AI, IoT, and hyperautomation. It also involves several other spaces like cybersecurity, cryptos, all those digital economy. And the industry 4.0 can be seen in companies like Tesla that uses combination of advanced robotics, AI, and hyperautomation. But more on this after knowing the fundamental concepts of all these terms. Any doubts, you can please put it on the question mark regarding the evolution of industries. And if there is no doubts, I'll go to evolution of employees. So evolution of employees, we have two categories. One who were working in the past, like they used to work at a fixed time, say 9 to 5, 10 to 6, or even in night shifts, something like that. But in future, and actually the current trend is they work anytime. They're not specified working in certain time limits. And in the past, they used to work from office, and current they work from anywhere. Even in future, it's going to be an actual practice that people work from everywhere, apart from the regular office premises. And in third, they used to work, in the past, employees were focusing on knowledge, but in future, they will focus on adaptive learning. And in the past, they also focus on repetitive work, but in future, the employees will be concerned only on strategic works. And finally, in past, they were heavily dependent on technologies like email alone, which is very limited. And in future, they will be relying on collaborative technologies. And this is what we are focusing on today. Evolution of automation. To understand the evolution of automation, we have to go back to 1970s, where there was an introduction of a software called ERP, which is configurable but not customizable software, which can be adapted to fit the specific needs of an organization through predefined setting and options. Examples might include SAP, Oracle Business eSuite, and Microsoft Dynamics 365. It's a latest version of ERP, but ERP actually began in mid of 1970s. Then it got evolved to business process management, which is a customizable software and it is API driven. So this allows organizations to create and automate custom workflows according to the business needs. Popular applications are APN and BPM software from IBM and Pegasystems. And recently we have a technology called RPA, that is robotic process automation. It is a platform and API independent. And I'll talk about this in the later part of the slides, but all these are evolution of automation. Like from ERP to RPA, the automation has evolved rapidly, and this has created a downward trend of manual work by humans, meaning the manual work by humans has significantly reduced, as you see in the graph. And every automation technology has both enhancement and substitution effects simultaneously. The enhancement is the employees can perform better at their jobs and increase in productivity, but the substitution can cause a replacement of manual efforts, meaning that they will focus only on strategic works, not the regular data entry or data manipulation jobs. If this is clear to you, I'll go to the next slide. The automation, about the general perspective of automation. While businesses are excited about AI and automation, their employees don't seem to share those feelings. They're afraid of the automation. They feel that automation-driven job apocalypse can occur in future. They're afraid of artificial intelligence can cause unprecedented job loss. Like there might be rumors telling that writers' jobs are at stake after introduction of ChatGPT 3.5. So this is the current trend now, and it's not like that. However, trends like hyperautomation allows businesses to create people-centric smart workplaces. By proper usage of automation, you can convert any fear zone into a people-centric smart workplace. The reality is automation is not going to steal any jobs. It's going to make the jobs easier. It's going to make your employees carry out their work in a better manner and keep the better work-life balance. It's always there to help you. So let's understand the automation journey. So if you take the automation journey, it has begun from simple desktop automation till artificial intelligence. And we are somewhere in the mid, like robotic process automation and machine learning integration phase. So I'll explain one by one what is RDA, that is robotic desktop automation. It's an automation that happens at the desktop level, at the user level. And it maximum involves one or two Windows application, desktop application, that's it. But if you wanted to do an automation at an enterprise level involving multiple applications, then you have to consider robotic process automation, which comes with the digital triggers and self-service, meaning like it can be unattended. But RDA is attended automation. You need to go start the automation, but RPA is smart enough to start automation whenever the certain rules are set. But both RPA and RDA are traditional automation, meaning like it works on certain if else rules condition. It's all rule based. But if you take machine learning and artificial intelligence, it's based on prescriptive and deductive analytics. There are a lot of other analytics like predictive and descriptive analytics as well. But to be short, prescriptive is like what should be done is all about prescriptive analytics, and what has happened and what will happen is all about deductive analytics. If you want me to cite an example, I will just imagine a retail company which wants to optimize its supply chain process. There will be several parameters like shipping cost, inventory levels, demand, and forecast. So if we have a machine learning model, it can determine the cost effective and efficient strategies. It can determine where to go, where to source materials, how much to order, and when to order. So all these are prescriptive analytics, like what should be done. But if you go to deductive analytics, say for example, banking institution or any financial institution wants to detect fraud in their customer transaction, it will analyze the transactional data, identify patterns and anomalies that are consistent with the fraudulent behavior. So it will tell what has happened and or what will happen. So this is the basic difference between ML and AI. So AI is the parent and machine learning is some child. Like AI, machine learning is a subset of AI, but AI is the ultimate thing. So if you look at RPA, it is, and RDA, they are process driven. They comes with a lot of if else rules condition, but machine learning and artificial intelligence are data driven. So it transitions the process from doing to thinking. So if you have any doubts about this, please ping in the Q&A box. I will be happy to answer it. So if this is clear to you, if we migrate a thing like RDA and RPA are conventional automation, and machine learning and artificial intelligence are cognitive automation. But there is a recent hype called intelligent automation, which includes RPA and the cognitive automation. All these three together form intelligent automation. Now we'll go to hyperautomation. So you have explained about intelligent automation, you have explained about cognitive automation and conventional automation as well. But what is hyperautomation? So hyperautomation is a framework and a set of standard advanced technologies for scaling automation in enterprise. The goal of hyperautomation is to streamline the enterprise automation. To put in simple terms, it is the use of various automation technologies to augment and expand human capabilities, like AI, ML, NLP, BI, RPA, IDP, and API. So let's understand what are these. So AI and ML is a technologies used for cognitive decision. RPA is for process automation, as I suggested. And IDP is for enhanced data mining, that is intelligent document processing. And NLP, that is natural language processing, it's for computers to understand the human language. For example, your Alexa, your Siri in your iPhone, and Google Assistant in your Android mobiles, all are NLP based. And BI is the business intelligence for data visualizations like Power BI, Tableau, all those softwares are BI softwares. And API is application programming interface. So for example, you can consider API as a hotel waiter, where you go to a restaurant, order a food. So the job of the waiter is to get the requirements from you, the meals you have ordered, and go to the kitchen, tell the cook to cook all these things and bring it back to your table. So that's API in real time. Like it is a communication medium for many systems. So RPA, robotic process automation, is a virtual software that can perform repetitive tasks based on rule-based processes without or with minimal human intervention. And AI/ML is a branch of artificial intelligence or machine learning, refers to the system of use of data to identify patterns and learn from them. Machine learning relies on little human intervention, as it uses pattern recognition to know what to do next and optimize procedures. And NLP is conversational AI, is the synthetic brain power that makes machine capable of understanding the human language. And it is often regarded as the brain of the virtual agent or chatbot. So recently, you might have seen ChatGPT-3. It's powered with NLP technology. So next is IDP. So IDP is intelligent document processing. I hope you might all know about OCR. OCR is a technology that converts unstructured data from documents to structured data. Say, for example, it can convert any handwritten documents or any scanned documents which are not digital to a digital document. All you need to do is put a scanner and scan the image, or even take a photo of it, and it will automatically translate into a Word or Excel on whatever format you need. It can convert that. So intelligent document processing helps technologies like RPA or any automation technologies to use data from an unstructured medium to a structured medium. Then we have business intelligence to view the dashboard. It's often tedious to see data in a raw format. So it's better to have a dashboard or visualization charts to understand the process level details. And this can give more meaningful and predicts what next will happen. So classic example is Power BI, Tableau softwares are business intelligence softwares. And we have API, as I told you, it's essentially the set of rules to dictate how two machines talk to each other. Say, for example, you're booking a flight ticket on Google, and it will show you the flight from various websites like Qantas, Qatar Airways, everything. And it brings information from various systems and put it in front of your mobile screen. So API is the technology behind that. So hyperautomation takes an ecosystem of all these cutting edge tools and produce a new method of working. It builds a workplace that is always informed, agile, and capable enough of using data and insights for prompt and correct decision makings in conjunction with humans. That is the most important part. It never takes any decisions without humans. It always involves humans for the ultimate decisions. And this is where human will stop doing repetitive works, but rather than involved in more strategic decisions, strategic works like decision making, emotional intelligence, all those things. So to reiterate, RPA plus AI plus ML, that is RPA plus cognitive automation is intelligent automation. And if you have intelligent automation along with some intelligent business tools like iBPMS, BI, and KDD, and if you have a smart workforce, that is hyperautomation. If this is clear to you, I'll go to the next slide. So what sets hyperautomation apart from conventional automation? So for this, we have to understand that conventional automation is typically limited to specific repetitive tasks within any software development lifecycle, meaning it focuses only on automating a process, or it is focusing only on automating certain documents. That's it. But in hyperautomation, it encompasses a broader range of activities and processes, including the entire SDLC. So starting from process discovery to development lifecycle, testing, then deployment and production maintenance, hypercare, calibration, all those phases in an SDLC cycle is being automated. And that is where hyperautomation comes in. So for discovering automation opportunities, we have technologies like process and task mining, process analytics. So this removes the manual work of identifying the process individually by any business analysts. And for implementing automation, we have technologies like RPA, no code, low code, software as a service, platform as a service, workload automation, and business logic tools like iBPMS, Intelligent Business Process Management Software. Then we have extending automotive with cognitive capabilities. We have technologies like machine learning, OCR, as I told you before, conversational AI, like NLP chatbots, business intelligence, and computer vision. So hyperautomation goes beyond task automation. Say, for example, hyperautomation refers more than just using technologies to handle activities. Collaboration amongst humans is also necessary. As I told you, it involves the smart workforce. This also is because human plays a crucial role in decision making and can use the technologies to analyze information and use logics. For instance, consider the scenario of social media, consumer retention. Tools that make use of RPA and machine learning can be relied upon using business to generate reports and gather information from social media regarding client sentiment. As a result, the report will be produced and marketing team will have easy access to the information. However, marketing team will then use the data to think and decide about what kind of campaigns and promotions or incentives it can give to satisfy the customers and attempt to salvage those who feel dissatisfied. So by using social media data, hyperautomation can mine those data and give a detailed report to the sales team or marketing team so they can make better marketing strategy. So just think about a use case that happens in retail industries. So any previously unseen interactions can be identified between processes, functions, and key performance indicators. And it also can help you understand the new opportunities. Say, for example, it can uncover process details and drives the business values. For example, if you take a retail industries, just imagine what potential hyperautomation can bring in. By using combination of RPA, AI, and machine learning algorithms used to monitor inventory levels, it can have a real-time monitoring of actual inventory levels, any automated process to reorder stock and adjust production schedules as needed. It can deliver automatic stocks, and it can even produce a list of the things which are of shortage, and it can automatically book in any e-commerce website. And it also avoids stockages and overproduction based on the seasons. Like, say, for example, in summer, there is a demand of a particular product, but in winter, if there is no such demand, it will automatically adjust the orders from the e-commerce website. And it improves the customer satisfaction, it increases the profitability, and the data generated can be used to identify more new opportunities for streamlining the process and optimizing the operations. And thus it drives the business values. So there will be a lot of examples in the upcoming slides. This is one from the retail industries where you can manage your inventories using hyperautomation. So the fundamental behind hyperautomation is API. So hyperautomation involves more than one software tool. As a result, it requires companies to use tools that can be configured to interact with one another. There is one downside of hyperautomation, that it can't be used for any legacy application. For example, if you are using AS400 IBM software or any mainframe application which doesn't have API functionalities, hyperautomation cannot be an option for it. So API is the underlying technologies in hyperautomation that can be plugged and play to pull information from many sources and communicate with other business applications. So if you are wondering how hyperautomation works, it's simple. It's API technology behind that drives the hyperautomation. And if you go to, if you wanted to know like how to start any hyperautomation journey, you have to understand this pyramid structure. So IT process automation happens at the IT infrastructure layer, and on top of that we have business process layer where robotic process automation comes in, and we have complex process layer, and that's where hyperautomation comes in. So the hierarchy is automating all the routine IT tasks and workflows such as servers maintenance, software patch update, and software updates. We should use IT process automation tools. And for automating any business processes that involves repeatable rules or structured digital data, then we have to use RPA. If it involves unstructured data, we have to use a combination of OCR and RPA that forms intelligent automation. So intelligent automation is a creamy layer between RPA and hyperautomation. But if you're automating anything in your organization, meaning which involves digital applications, then you have to consider hyperautomation. But how to begin hyperautomation is, for any organization which is implementing new technologies, they will be expecting the ROI, the return on investment. So for that case, if it should be highly beneficial, you should start the automation at the IT process automation. If it is not implemented, then implementing hyperautomation is baseless. So you have to go from IT process automation, and then you have to implement robotic process automation. Then comes the intelligent automation. Then you have to go for hyperautomation. So the best place to start is IT process automation. If you're strong in implementing this, then consider going to RPA likewise. The benefits of hyperautomation is for the business and the leaders, the management team can have the essence of automated process. They can enjoy the benefits of advanced analytics, increased employee satisfaction and motivation, technologically advanced workforce, meaning that no one is left behind and no one feels that they are not learning any new technologies. So you always have a smart workforce. And apart from this, you also have an increased employee capacity, meaning your employees will be free up from doing routine rule-based tasks. They will be more focusing on strategic tasks. And you also get instant and accurate insights. As I told you in the previous example of inventory management, you always have access to the live inventory details. So meaning like it always have the instant live details. And all this comes with the greater compliance and reduced risk. Hyperautomation is also involving cybersecurity tools so that no data is leaving the office network. So it is also a greater productivity and collaboration tools, meaning hyperautomation also involves messaging systems so that your teams can message each other and get aligned so that everyone are on the same page while implementing any technology related projects. So the next slide is what hyperautomation means to the business teams. So they get instant access to live and centralized data. I might sound repeating the same point. Employees can spend more time offering strategic decision making, advice with insights available from automated reports, and it improves the accuracy and enables stakeholders to identify risk and opportunities immediately. So hyperautomation comes with the audit logs so that anyone in an organization can't do any data theft. It is always having proper audit logs so that it can send those logs to the ISO team of your organization, and they can always monitor who's dealing with sensitive data. So if you have seen recently, there is Optus data breach which happened in Australia, so that all these risks can be identified well before the human team identifies. So if you have hyperautomation already in your place, these kind of issues can be avoided in well before the human team identifies it. So it enables quick data-driven decisions. And the next use case is somewhat everyone might have experienced in their lifetime, at least for once, that is employee onboarding process. So any job, the hiring manager can raise a job requirement to the HR team by giving the following details like job description, the roles and responsibilities of the job, minimum years of experience required for the job, the maximum salary limit, skill set, type of job and location, and more related info. So by having these details, what HR does is they post the job on the job portal. Say, for example, it could be Seek, it could be LinkedIn, and then the candidate applies to the job through the link. HR or automated systems imported the bunch of resume and they do the manual screening. And after the manual screening is done, which is already a lot of time, they consult with the hiring manager and the candidate for their availability. This adds to the further addition of time, and they organize interview manually. The interview outcome process, they wait for the interview to happen and they will wait for the outcome, and it begins the offer process. If the candidate is selected in the interview, the offer process goes on. And if the employee accepts the offer, there will be an onboard date confirmation, and there is a time period for employee joining, and the induction program happens, and manual arrange of assets like laptop, ID, access cards begins to happen. So this whole process takes a lot of time, at least a month or 2 months. It can happen this much time, but this is the process flow in terms of assets. Like HR team posts the job, candidate applies to the job link, the HR application imports the job, they perform the manual screening, shortlist happens from the HR team, then hiring manager provides the available time slots, they organize the interview manually and provide feedback manually. So all these things happens in a month or 2 months of time. This is a long wait, and also a lot of manual work by the HR team. But what if this scenario is replaced by hyperautomation? So whatever is highlighted in the gray is a manual operation, and whatever is highlighted in white or transparent, it is an hyperautomation phase. So as usual, the hiring manager will tell the requirements to the HR team, and they will post the job details in the job portal, and candidate will apply through the link. And afterwards, the intelligent document processing, the tool that reads the documents, can review the resume and auto cluster those. The machine learning models then calculates the matching score of the resume with relevance to the job requirement. Say, for example, this particular resume is 80% matching to the job description. It can give a score like that. Then the HR team can decide whether to shortlist or reject with the button click. They need not even go through pages of all the resumes. If there are 200 people applying for a job, it can give a 200 dashboards. It can give a summary of all the candidates in the dashboard, and the HR can decide whether to shortlist or reject a particular resume with the button click. And if the candidate is shortlisted, an email will be sent to the candidate asking for the available time slots based from the hiring manager. And the candidate can choose the preferred time slot sent by the bot. And if they're not responding to the email sent by the bot, it will auto follow up by sending them an email, SMS, and even make a phone call about the interview email. And the interview happens. The hiring manager can provide the feedback with the button click, whether telling that the interview was good, the candidate is suitable for the job. Everything can happen in a button click. And then if the person is shortlisted, an automated mail will be sent to the IT team for the relevant asset allocation based on the data provided in the job description. If it's working for a client-based project, a client laptop will be allocated. If it's working for an internal project, an internal laptop will be allocated along with the ID cards, access cards, everything will be auto-allocated in the company's employee management portal. Then during the time, the hyperautomation will also work on pre-induction activities sent by a candidate can work also on the pre-induction activities sent by the bot. What do I mean by this is hyperautomation will auto-analyze the job description and will send relevant study materials or educational videos so that the candidate can upskill himself or herself before coming to the job. So if this is clear to you, I'll go to the next slide, like who all are using hyperautomation. I see there are no doubts, so I'll go to the next slide. So there are a lot of sectors like financial services, insurance, healthcare, and retail, construction, communication uses hyperautomation for various case studies, various use cases. So like KYC forms, anti-money laundering, call segregation, customer verification, smart billing, process insurance claims, all those things. You can take a snap if you want, if you're from relevant domain. And there are a lot of other domains also, but I've just used these top 6 domains where hyperautomation is being currently used. The next one is, we'll see a demo how hyperautomation, like an NLP based chatbot, can interact with RPA software to trigger a work process automation. So this is the video. So the technology stack used in this video is Rasa chatbot. It's an NLP based open source chatbot, and Automation 360 community edition. It's also community edition, but it's not open source. So you can see that the business user has just pinged hi, and it tells that it can help you with certain activities like triggering a bot, getting the historical data, or contacting dev team, or contacting production team, or raising a ticket, or some other things. So when the user selects trigger bot, it will ask which process to trigger, and it will show the list of processes for which the user has access to trigger. So here, uh, in terms of security, it will give access only to the process where the user has access to trigger it. And the user types mortgage in the chat window, but it confirms whether you have selected mortgage bot. Can the digital work started? Digital worker started, meaning like it is asking for a confirmation because the input was not full, like it is not the full text, it's just mortgage from the mortgage bot. So it auto understands the user input and asks whether you wanted to start mortgage bot. And also, instead of yes, the user affirms with the word called yep. So it also understands the human language and starts the bot accordingly. So if this is clear to you, I'll go to the next slide. And whatever figures you have seen in the automation is just for the demo purpose. It's nothing to do with the real-time scenario. So I take this as all good.
Yeah, no questions yet. Just a reminder, if anyone does have questions, just to pop them into the Q&A box.
Sure. So the hyperautomation, the future, what future looks like. So according to the Gartner, hyperautomation is one of the top 10 strategic technologies trends for 2022. So currently the market is at $13.8 billion, and it is expected to grow to close to $40 billion in next half decade, like by 2028. And it's growing at a compounded annual growth rate at 23.5%, which is huge for any technology. And if you wanted to see what technologies can comprise of this hyperautomation is 33% goes to AI and ML, 33% goes to RPA, and 33% goes to conversational AI and other technologies like biometrics, context-aware computing, process mining. So if you are in any one of these technologies, you can be a member of, you're already contributing to the hyper automation market. So if you are in RPA, you can consider focus on AI and ML. If you're in AI and ML, you can consider focusing your next skill on RPA. And if you are both in this technology, you can try focusing on conversational AI. So Gartner the Gartner surveys also showed that 85% of the participants will either increase or sustain their organization's hyper-automation investments in 2023. And 56% of those 85% is already having 4 or more concurrent hyper-automation initiatives, meaning they have either RPA, conversational AI, data analytics, data visualization projects running in parallel. So the hyperautomation has an excellent future. So coming back to the industry 4.0, if you have seen in the first slide of this webinar, we have talked about Tesla. So Tesla is currently using hyperautomation in several ways to improve its operations and stay ahead of the competition. Some of the key ways that Tesla is using in hyperautomation include automated manufacturing. So Tesla uses advanced robotics and hyperautomation to automate its manufacturing and improve efficiencies, resulting in a faster and more flexible production cycle. It also uses predictive maintenance using hyperautomation, where the IoT technologies in the Tesla car collect the data from its vehicle and constantly monitor and improve the performance. If you might have seen a lot of YouTube videos where Tesla goes wrong sometimes, that it doesn't work well on highway roads. So in that case, all this data is being collected, and these data is rectified and reinstalled in the Tesla cars, meaning the software is will be updated in a periodic manner. So these mistakes will not happen in the future as well. So these are the areas of improvements where Tesla is looking for using hyperautomation. And then it also uses hyperautomation for optimization in their supply chain strategies, reducing cost and improving reliability to its suppliers. It also uses hyperautomation to enhance the customer experience, and it provides a recommendation on new driving system, and also encourages them to buy Tesla vehicles. They have a demo cars so that based on the driving experience, it can auto suggest that you can go for Model 3, Model Y, or Model S based on their driving pattern and driving behavior. So this is how hyperautomation is impacting Tesla in a positive manner, and no wonder it's one among the best car manufacturers because of hyperautomation. And there are several factors as well, but hyperautomation is also a major contribution to their success. So we are into the conclusion part. Let's put everything together. So as Gartner says, robots here are not to take away our jobs, they are to give promotion. The use of automation tools and hyperautomation is expanding. If you haven't implemented automation in your business, you are already behind the trend. So put on your seatbelts and start implementing automation as soon as possible. And the only way to stay in the front is if you have been proactive about adoption of evaluating your existing process, make your technological stacks is functioning properly, like choosing the right tools for your organization, choosing the right technology for your organization. So these are very much important. And for implementing this, you need the support of your team, like IT support team, business team, management team for funding, all those things. You need support of your entire organization. And the same principle applies to the developing of business environments that benefit from hyperautomation. It's a win-win situation if they work together. Make sure that you pick the tools, as I suggested, that are simple to use and effectively communicate with both your people and existing system. So here ends the slides. Is there any doubts?
I do have a question from Sue. Sue has asked, hi Vishal, does Tesla collect information from the car itself?
I think it can, based on the privacy settings given by the customer. Few customers don't share the data, but if they intend to share the data, Tesla indeed collects the data from the customers. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, I think that's fine. So I've given you the ability to talk if you did want to chip in or ask anything further in response to Vishal's answer. I said, thanks, Vishal. I wondered how private it was.
Like it's always at your hands whether to share your data or not. So it's up to you whether to share your coordinates or not.
Vishal, I actually wanted, Liza has a question. She says, very insightful, Vishal. Thanks for sharing your knowledge with us. How do you think BAs in general can adapt with the changing times? And do they need to learn hyperautomation, and what are their other options?
Good question, Liza. So if you take, I would have mentioned in the previous slides, say I can go back to that slide. Just a second. I would have told that hyperautomation will focus on adaptive learning, and people will slowly come out from focusing on knowledge to this slide. Like in the past, people used to focus on knowledge, but now they're focusing on adaptive learning. So as a software developer, in the past, they will focus on specific programming languages or tool, but now they will focus on the ability to learn new technologies, programming languages at much faster rate, like how much quickly you get adapted. For instance, if in terms of BA, I would say traditionally you might have you have done requirement gathering and documentation in the past, but right now you are aligning to the current trends and the future trends like agile methodology and practices like story creation, collaborating with cross-functional teams, and facilitating agile ceremonies. So if you are using hyperautomation tools, say for example, SQL, Power BI, you know data mining tools, data cleaning tools, data integration tools, data visualization tools. If you know all these tools, you can actually build an automated system that can do your task and show that the company's raw data can be converted into a useful insight and a valuable information.
Yeah, that's really good, Vishal. And glad you mentioned earlier as well around this slide, how, you mentioned a little bit about ChatGPT, because there's a lot of doom and gloom messaging out there that, that will replace the BAs, that will replace, those other creative jobs. But I like how you framed it here and in the previous slide about that apocalypse, job apocalypse, which is not true. Will just be more aligned with the creative side of things, like the creative problem solving and more people-centric jobs, I guess, more people-centric roles. So that's comforting to hear, especially for the BAs in this call. Thanks, Vishal.
Yes, and also, Liza, the Chat GPT-3 lacks creativity, emotional intelligence, and critical thinking. And all things can only be given from humans to any work they do. Because if you take a developer, even though Chat GPT-3 can code all the programming language, it still needs the technical expertise of a solution architect. If you go for a BA, it still needs the creativity, it still needs the critical thinking of business decision making. So all those things can't be made by Chat GPT-3. So still, if you use Chat GPT, you will enhance your work, you will enhance your outcome. That's it. But it can't replace you in any terms.
Well said. Thanks, Vishal.
Thank you. I see one more question from...
Yeah, we've got a question from Susie. What are the key skills, competency, methodologies would be required to embrace hyperautomation? For example, for BAs, dev teams, project managers, etc.
For that, I would show you the marketing slides, which I'm yet to show. But for right now, as a BA, you can focus on data mining, data cleaning, data integration, and data visualization. And NIME is a great tool which falls in all these 4 categories. And for data mining, you can use NIME, rapid miner tools. For data cleaning, you can use NIME and Alteryx. For data integration, you can use NIME and MS SQL Server Service, all those things. And for data visualization, you can use NIME, Power BI, Tableau. If you know all these softwares, you can, for BA, it will be very much helpful in the hyperautomation journey. So let me quickly go through the marketing slides so that you're all well informed about the tools and knowledge you required for hyperautomation. Just a second.
Vishal, we do have one more question. Did you want me to ask you this now or after you finish the next lot of slides?
I think I can answer. Business need to start the automated process. Can you please share some automation tools that can be useful for BA to explore? Sure, I will let you know that one as well. So One second. So before answering any other questions, let me quickly give an introduction about Intellificial Academy. Like Intellificial Academy is a Melbourne-based automation training provider for individuals and corporate teams worldwide. It offers training on areas of test automation, robotic process automation, and conversational AI led by industry professionals. So these technologies comes under hyperautomation. The courses are designed to be instructor-led and feature real-life case studies, meaning you'll get to work on real-life scenarios, all those things. And if you find self-learning challenging, we have the right learning opportunities for you to help take the next step in your career. And if you take RPA, Automation Anywhere is a leading market leader in RPA space. And there is a QR code which you can scan to navigate to the Academy site. And email is training@intellificial.com. Do send your queries and inquiries to this. If you have any doubts in future, we'll be happy to respond to you. If you want to take a screenshot also, please feel free to take. And next slide is, we have a wide range of courses to offer. So for BAs, we have RPA for Business Analyst training program, which is designed to help you a successful career as RPA for Business Analyst. The training program offers a comprehensive understanding of RPA business process analysis, hands-on experience with process discovery tool, and the training programs equips with you creating efficient automated solutions for the business. Meaning, without any coding knowledge, you can build automation solution, and also you can do the other activities which need not be coding, but things which are closely associated with automation products, like generating a BRD, generating a process discovery report, all those things using automated technologies. I think Liza has attended, Walter has attended this course already. So do shed in some light after this marketing slides, Liza. And the course is for 1 day. It is instructor led and the target audience is business analyst, but anyone can join. There is no prior experience required. And the upcoming course for this date is 4th March 2023. That is on Saturday. It starts from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. And the cost for is $1,000 if you're a non-IIBA member. And we offer 25% discount to IIBA members. That comes around 750 AUD for IIBA members. And please send an email to training@intellificial.com for any enrollment or any other inquiries about the course. We will be happy to assist you. And there are other courses. Please take a screenshot if you want. There are other courses like RPA Quick Onboard, RPA Citizen Developer, RPA Practitioner, RPA Advanced Practitioner. So these are all technical courses. The RPA Practitioner and Advanced Practitioner are for developers and who wanted to learn automation. But for RPA Citizen Developer is for everyone. You might be an HR, you might be you might be from a sales team, you might be from a business analyst team, you might be from a marketing team. So regardless of your background, regardless of your technical expertise, you can participate in this course. It's a 1-day comprehensive course covering all the fundamentals of automation 360 tools, which can, we have tailored the course in such a way that you go do automation in a gamification process. Like you go from level 1 to level 10 in an increasing complexity manner, so that you get to know about how automation works in any organization. And you also build automation solutions. So you can take a screenshot of this course as well.
And Walter's just up to comment in saying the RPA for BA was very interesting and insightful.
Thank you, Walter. Thank you for the feedback.
Yeah, I think the course was good because especially for old timer like me that's been through all these various stages of automation over the years from 1.0 to 4.0. I think it's a good opportunity for us as a BA to refresh our knowledge and how we can align our knowledge in business analysis, especially from the BABOK, to what is required to be a successful BA in a RPA environment.
Thank you, Walter. Thank you so much. Then we have other courses from Intellificial Academy, which are non-RPA based. One is test automation using Playwright. So Playwright is a tool where you can build test automation programs to test your softwares. And we do have conversational AI, where we build chatbots using RASA software. And we do have a specialized course called conversation design, where you design conversations, like how to interact with customers. This is a non-technical course, but gives you an opportunity to be in conversational AI space. And we also are a partner of Conversation Design Institute, and this is in Netherlands, Europe. And we are a partner of Automation Anywhere, which is in US. And the other upcoming courses from Intellificial Academy are RPA for project managers. If you are a project manager and if you wanted to be in RPA projects, you can subscribe to the course. And if you're a solution architect, we will teach you about how to design solution design documents and how to design single bot architecture, multi-bot architecture, how to understand the enterprise architecture, everything from scratch. And we also have courses on data visualization using Power BI or Tableau, whichever tool you prefer. You can subscribe to that course. But these courses are yet to come in Intellificial Academy. We are working on these courses. And this is our email address and website address. If you wanted to take a note of this, please feel free to take a screenshot as well. And yes, I can see the questions now. As a business, need to start automated process. Can you please share some automation tools? I think you can go with Automation 360 Community Edition, or UiPath Community Edition, or even Blue Prism Community Edition. But I would prefer Automation 360 because it's easy to learn, and you can quickly have an automation badge in your profile. So it's easy to learn, and you can also join the Citizen Developer course from Academy. I hope I answered your question. Coming in healthcare, what are the issues that prevent hyperautomation being adopted? In healthcare, I don't see any major issues apart from sensitive data. But even if we have a sensitive data being stored in any of the database, say knowledge discovery database, the process of identifying useful and valuable knowledge from large amount of data from database is called knowledge discovery in database. In short, it is called as KDD. So I feel that all healthcare institutions are using KDD, and this is also a form of hyperautomation. I don't see any risk in implementing hyperautomation, but it should be in a constrained manner. It should go in a the implementation should happen in a stepwise manner. Be it related to sensitive data of the patients, all those things, we should take an account of it, get a proper approval from the internal security organization, and then start implementing it. Apart from that, I see no issues in implementing hyperautomation to any healthcare and pharmaceutical clients. There are leading, I can even cite examples, leading healthcare domain expert like Becton and Dickinson in US. They have implemented a hyperautomation using Automation 360 and Tableau, and also other tools like Microsoft Power Apps. They have already created hyperautomation ecosystem there. I hope I answered your question, Thane. Again, from Sushi, it seems that there is no solution architect course. Who would you need to design together the components? No, there is an upcoming course, Sushi, and from Solutions Architect. We are working on that. We'll soon make it live.
Did anyone else have any other questions at all? You probably get this one a lot, Vishal. You know what we all, I guess those of us who are attending are generally already the converted and see the benefits of automation and hyperautomation, but the implementation can be quite a challenge. And obviously, I assume the courses that Intellificial put together is about providing us the skills to then present the business cases in the best possible way from the powers above, wherever we work. But what are the main challenges in implementation? I know you said, we have to sort of go right down to the base, automate your IT processes first, etc. But having worked in that space and teaching in that space, when you meet other people who are implementing things, what are the main challenges that they face, and what are the sort of things the techniques they've utilized to come around these challenges or work through these challenges?
So the major challenge is the cultural challenge. About if you go to any enterprise and start telling that you're going to implement any automation, the first challenges is from the business team or the employees who are resistant to automation. They feel that their job is at stake. So in order to avoid this thing, we give them RPA clinics, like automation clinic, where we educate them that RPA is not there to take away from their job. It still promotes their job, and they work better, and their productivity will also increase. So once that fear is gone, from the technology side, that I don't see any issues in implementing it. And one more major thing is the patience. The ROI generally comes at the second year. As soon as you implement RPA, you can't expect ROI in the beginning of the first year itself. You can really expect an 100% ROI or 200% of ROI from the second year. So you need to have that patience. So that is the second factor. And third is the maintenance. So the quality of the team who's delivering it. If you have a partner who is technologically well adapted and is also strong in implementing the solutions, if you have a strong technology consultant or consulting team, that's good. And if you have an like Tyro guys, it's going to be hard. So these are the three challenges, Charlene.
Thanks, Vishal. Did anyone else have any other questions? Nothing else? No, I'm just checking if there's any hands that have come up, Vishal. Don't think I see anything. All right, well, we might, if anyone does have any questions, it's feel free to still pop them into the Q&A box or pop your hand up. Thank you so much, Vishal. It was really, I love the way you sort of started with the building blocks and explained those individually, and then spoke about how the building blocks get put together to basically be hyperautomation. And for new kids on the block like me, in automation and the hyperautomation space, that was a really good way for me to follow it, because sometimes it just goes over the head when you're not working in that space. So thank you so much for taking the time to put that together and explaining it really well to us as well. And thank you to everyone who submitted questions. As we always say in every webinar, the questions are actually just as pivotal to the slides, because they do generate some great discussion alongside the content as well. Vishal and Arad, sorry, I was going to say, did you
show you
have anything?
To Liza for introducing us to IIBA, and thank you, Aradhana, for giving us a chance to speak for the webinar, and thank you, Charlina and Charmaine, for facilitating this webinar.
No, thank you, Vishal. Aradhana, was there anything you wanted to add at all?
Thanks, Sharlina. It's always a great feeling to collaborate with IIBA team, and hope the webinar was insightful for everyone. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you again. Before we finish up tonight, we do have... We've got some comments here as well from Andy. Thank you for a very interesting presentation. And Saihin, I hope I said that right. Thank you for sharing the info and experience. So before we finish off tonight, we've just got a couple of little slides just with some announcements from IIBA. As I said, if you do have some questions for Vishal's slides, still free to, we're doing really well for time, so still feel free to add those in. I'll just share my screen now. And Walter has also said, thank you, excellent presentation. So I'll just move through the next couple of slides, just as I said, with some messages from IIBA. So future events that are coming up, the next two, 16th of Feb, IIBA Brisbane is hosting Business Analysis Trends Lightning Talks. And in March, IIBA Melbourne, so us again, we've got an online webinar, BA Professional Development, and there's obviously a lot more coming in this space while we all sort out our events for 2023, but keep watch of this space. FOBA, Festival of Business Analysis, was a massive success last year, and it is coming back again, 16th to 20th of October, so pop it in your diaries. Further details will come as we put that together. And we're also looking for speaker nominations for FOBA at the moment as well. So if we do encourage you to nominate speakers who can improve our human skills as well as our technical skills as well. So if you've heard of a speaker that previously had a fantastic story or a case study, feel free to have a chat to them and nominate them. And please don't hesitate to contact the team putting FOBA together at this email address as well. There's also more information online about how to register and how to pop in nominations for speakers as well. Melbourne events, we're always looking for speakers. So if you are interested or if you know someone is, give them a bit of a nudge and please pop in and at this register as a speaker and we will get in touch with you guys. So like I said, if you know anyone, give them a nudge. And if you're a little bit weary, we're happy to have a chat with you to talk through how the webinar works, etc. as well. So if you're even slightly thinking about it, get in touch with us. Study groups are commencing again. So 21st of Feb, this is IIBA Perth, Business Data Analytics Study Group online. So the QR codes are here. They're also available on the website as well, if you did want some further information about these. Just hold that for a second in case anyone wants to scan that code. The mentoring programs. So mentoring programs are run at different times across the country. In Victoria, we're actually just about to commence the first mentoring program for the year, but it is not too late to register your interest. So the QR codes are here as well. There are lots of benefits, and that's actually for both the mentor and the mentees as well. So for mentees, you'll be paired up with an industry leading professional to essentially help build your skills, help you with enhancing or even commencing your professional development plan and pathway. And it's a great way to gain some insights and advice, and of course, be part of a larger professional community as well. And for mentors, there are multiple benefits there as well, other than just that sense of purpose and being able to give back to the community. It's the ability to share your knowledge and your experience and understanding, and also gain another perspective from somebody else and what their challenges are or what their successes are as well. And of course, the ability to expand your network as well. Call for volunteers. We're always looking for volleys. We've got multiple different branches, so mentoring, events, etc. So pop in a register, as I said, with the speakers. If you've got some questions you're not quite sure, get in touch with us and we're happy to have a chat to you and give you some more information about it as well. Follow us on social media. So we're across all the different main social medias. So join the conversation now. So just a note before we finish off that everyone who attended is eligible for one CDU. Please keep the email confirmation you got, which basically says thank you for attending this webinar email as proof of your attendance. Once again, thank you so much, Vishal and Aradhana, for taking the time to share your knowledge and insights with us and putting this presentation together and answering everyone's questions too. And thank you to everyone who has attended. I hope you enjoyed the session. We appreciate you all being here, and have a wonderful evening, and see you at the next webinar.
Thank you, Charlena.